versus Zelda, and we are getting right into it as we have a matchup of the incredibly aggressive versus the defensive wall. Who is going to break first? Let it rain. Who you got?
It's going to be interesting to see because traditionally you think that Zelda is mainly good, especially on the online brackets. And Ven, of course, is no slouch. Marce, on the other hand, we haven't really seen much of in these brackets, but at the same time, Pichu got a little bit of a buff in the most recent patch. So I'm excited to see what this newly powered rat can bring to the table.
True, a little bit of hurt box manipulation there. In addition, I think that this is going to be an interesting matchup because Pichu has very little margin for error. We already see Ven very nearly taking that with the up air right there. Instead, gets the up B out of a defensive option, and Marce getting exploded sub 100. I think that's going to be the tail of this match. Pichu get all the buffs it wants. That's still a tiny rat.
Yeah, you said missed the up air, but gets the elevator on the way up. That's just how Zelda be sometimes. And you don't want to be Pichu playing from behind because remember, this electric rat hurts themselves every time they throw out an electrically charged attack. So, percentage is going to be the name of the game. And if you're down at 100, you got to be able to take those stocks back at 100, because it's 112 as Ven dies and loses their first stock.
And I think we saw a little bit of matchup inexperience right there. It looked like Ven tried to punish one of Pichu's moves, and that character can be super safe when it wants to be. And Marce had the attack ready right there. Landing with the neutral B, that is not safe. Back air immediately forcing Ven to edge, and then into this strong combo with forward air. There's a bit of a rough spot. Ven doesn't seem to have a jump. The forward smash 2-frame attempt a little bit short by Marce.
Even so, I love what Marce was trying for there. Pretty good, and I love the ability to kind of put Ven on the defensive and make sure that their offstage recovery is going to be stunted in some ways with that Thunder Jolt. So, neck and neck right now. After kind of Marce lost that first stock relatively early, it's good to see that the Pichu has the power to bring it back nice and tight.
I mean, we have seen Pichu kill a lot earlier. Oh my lord, that neutral be very nearly ending Marce's stock super early, but the Knight... Again, Marce just seems to be falling prey to these situations where he chooses an aggressive option or the incorrect option and then is able to hard punish super early. You do not really have too much of a margin for error with Pichu. So I'd like to see Marce get a couple of those 2 frames or a little bit more ledge pressure. He's doing a very good job right here as Ven has to recover low again. What does Marce have? Tries for the back air, not quite going to connect.
It's getting kind of touch and go here for Marce, kind of getting those small hits but not finding an option that can seal the deal. So 52% now already. Last stock, got to be careful. Just kind of tossing out every big option under the sun, hoping that Ven will be able to survive the next one. But 146, going from coast to coast in these last few seconds, it misses the opportunity. But gets the Thunder, up air to Thunder, confirm. Love to see it. Marce is still on the board, Scabs.
In addition, we talked about the buffs a little bit, but that is one nerf that they did not reverse. That forward tilt is still not quite as strong as it used to be on release. That forward tilt used to be killing super early, not too much anymore, and Ven throwing out haymakers at edge, but Marce able to force his way back, and now he's in an advantageous spot. I think he's really got to make this one count, Let It Rain.
Indeed, indeed. Now it's center stage getting back thrown. That was almost to the blast zone. Marce, I like that Thunder to kind of mess with Ven on the offensive side here, but still, 137 as a Pichu off stage versus a Zelda. This is dangerous situations here for Marce, but finds that center stage.
These neutral Bs are doing so much work for Ven, breaking out of combos, reflecting projectiles, generally making this matchup quite a nuisance right here as Ven doesn't feel the need to approach, and Marce, he's just running away and dealing himself more self-damage. 160, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see a throw connect. That was so smart by Ven. That was so smart. He held down on the up B to go ahead and claim that stock.
I appreciate what Marce was trying to do there for the perfect 2-frame on that down air to get the spike, to get the game. But unfortunately, Ven was well prepared, and with Furor's Wind manages to destroy Pichu. Pichu got sent to the ledge, actually. You saw that it was untechable, and just bounced to game 2. That Pichu said, nope, unfortunately, I have reached 0 HP, I have fainted, and went back to their Pokeball.
Down aired, not disjointed enough to challenge the up B, and again, that was, I just want to give Ven props twice in a row right there. Holding down from Zelda is such a risky proposition because that actually loses to Pichu's forward tilt, and forward tilt, while neutered a little bit, without the double jump, Zelda is not recovering at that percent. So right there, we saw Marce bet it all, but Ven was one step ahead. So props to both players for playing a relatively tight game 1 right there. We'll have to see if Marce is able to make the adjustments to run it back.
You pointed out the Thunder Jolt from Pichu being really good at poking holes in Ven's defenses, and that is something you see from Pikachu a lot. Everyone talks about how Pikachu's the best camper because of that Thunder Jolt, you know? It puts people in the defensive, it forces them to shield, it gives Pikachu rather, the ability to get grabs at follow-ups off of it. So on a character like Pichu, a lot of similarities are there, even though, again, Pichu takes a little bit of percentage from it, a lot of options and a lot of damage on board if Pichu can make it happen.
Speaking about giving a lot back, we got Nick District 14 given a tier 1 sub 21 months in a row, giving us both a shout out. Nick District, thank you so much for subbing, helping support VGBC, and hanging around. Love to see the homies out supporting SAXU. Let's get to it now in game 2. Ben Marce back to stadium, now with a bit of an advantage facing
A little bit of that, again, similar situations where Knight just kind of comes out, Ven's kind of finding platform presence. It's so smart to sit underneath his platforms because Knight just covers that forward approach, platform prevents the up top approach. It's the standard Zelda tactic, and it can work, but if Pichu rather just kind of force you away from those platforms, it becomes a lot more of a game of scrapping, and Ben kind of losing that a bit.
80%, though, there's really only a slight percentage differential right now, but that is the problem. Anytime you try to bet everything on black as Pichu, if you do not have the proper read, you are going to be exiting stage left real quick.
That's the unfortunate part of, oh my goodness, speaking of unfortunate, just the last tick of that back air from Pichu. If I recall correctly, it has a static amount of knockback on that, so it's going to do a huge chunk of it, especially at that higher percentage. So great from Marce to find that one hit, because that's all it takes.
Now we're back to boxing. I like Marce's approach options here. He's basically just fading in and out with that T-Jolt like you brought up Let It Rain, trying to poke a hole in Zelda's defense. Previously, game 1, he was like fully committing. He was landing on shield, tossing out aerials, and just seeing if he could rush down Zelda. That typically doesn't work too well, so a bit more of an intelligent and measured approach this time. Still being on the aggressive, but not necessarily trying to bet at all. And as soon as I say that, he charges smash attacks. And all right, just try to prove me wrong. Misses the punish, though.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. That was a perfect prime opportunity to get some crazy damage and possibly a stock off of Ven, but Marce unable to find it. Gets forward smash in return, dies from center stage. So again, that is the weight of Pichu coming at a deficit here, and this could be Marce's winner side stock.
He is rough out here for them low weight characters. Sheik, Fox, Pichu, so easy to reverse them. They need to make every opportunity count. Marce getting the back air to force Ven off stage again, but the ledge pressure so far hasn't actually been there. He actually backs off and allows the Knight to collide. Gets the forward tilt, but again, that is not going to kill, which means more self-damage. And look at that. Ven held down again to give Marce a free punish, but Marce gave so much space that he couldn't actually capitalize off of it.
Rough to see for Marce, unable to find it. Gets caught out by a lot of stuff. It's actually the downer from center stage from Marce to secure that stock, and now it is one stock left each, and that's dangerous. Spot dodging in front of a Zelda means forward smash could be coming your way. Has to avoid the Knight, has to avoid the forward smash. This is getting tense, Scabs.
The projectile barrage is in, though. Marce trying to slow it down. I think he just recognized that additional self-harm is not really going to be a factor here. He is in for the long haul. If he has to go ahead and deal himself a couple points of damage, then so be it. Open up this Zelda safely if you can.
There's a lot. I like that grab. Yeah, just goes for the pure grab. I kind of like that option, though. Marce hasn't been getting a crazy amount of grabs so far in this game, so to kind of shake it up and put Ven on the defensive. Oh, I like that as well. Just kind of staying smart. That was a bail me out Thunder. Managed to survive just barely, avoiding Ven, and Marce is playing the runaway game perfectly.
I'm a little bit concerned by Ven hitting buttons, though. That up B was wild. Like, yeah, he wins if it hits, but if he doesn't, he has the opportunity to get opened up in return. But no, not going to happen this time, as Ven's dash attack covers Marce's options right there and secures the 2-0 victory.
You said Ven's pressing buttons, and hey, sometimes with a lead like that, you can press some buttons, and I'm pretty sure Zeldas are a big fan of it. So, Ven getting that 2-0 over Marce. Good stuff from both competitors, but it looks like Ven's the one moving on in that winner's bracket pretty solidly.
Very true. I mean, you know me. I'm a fan of hitting buttons. I'm a fan of just like, rolling your face on the controller and just seeing what happens. So I respect it. I mean, the master's soul in me respects that option right there. But it's whenever you're fighting against